Mike, you testified about the few undeveloped parcels that South Point 1, the only one that's not developed, is actually used for property owners association properties dedicated. And at South Point 2, there were 2 undeveloped and 1 pending development. Could you describe generally what the acreage is of each of those parcels?
They're fairly small. There's an out parcel next to West Bank Road in our town center, which is 1.046 acres. There's a parcel that's next to the park, the beautiful park we built. You guys seen our park in Main Street, very bottom. It's 1.76 acres. That's really the only parcel that's left in the town center piece. And then Island is developing a parcel. It's called Neighborhood Retail South. I believe that's about 12 acres, 12 to 13 acres.
I don't have any other witnesses to call. I do have a series of closing objections that I want to put on the record. Pursuant to the points that I made, the legal points, pursuant to the documents, the township's own documents, the advertisements, which are defective attempted zoning ordinance, we would submit to this board that this ordinance is arbitrary and capricious, is not supported by any substantial evidence from anyone. There has been no statement from any board member or zoning officer in support of this ordinance or any facts that would support it. If the board is acting in a manner that is arbitrary, unreasonable, and capricious in doing so, that is an attempt at an illegal zoning by referendum, absolutely illegal in Pennsylvania. You cannot delegate, you do not have the power to delegate to landowners your jobs as municipal officials governing land development and zoning. It's essentially tantamount to a zoning by referendum, turning over zoning responsibilities to citizens and landowners, but only in this district also. Nowhere else. Absolutely no uniformity, no sense to it, completely illegal zoning by referendum. It's also illegal spot zoning. Mr. Tramp testified about the elements of that in his report and why it is also a disguised attempt at rezoning through proposed text amendment to the ordinance. The zoning violates the Pennsylvania and United States Constitutions, particularly the 5th and 14th Amendments of the United States Constitution. The ordinance attempts to restrict all other possible reasonable uses of the South Point Golf Club property, not really a limitation, but a blanket prohibition of all other uses in the residential category without any supporting evidence of why it's in the health, safety, or welfare interests of the community. The ordinance is essentially a regulatory taking that deprives the South Point Golf Club of all economically beneficial uses for its property, and that when a property owner has been called upon to sacrifice those beneficial uses, he has indeed suffered a taking. This ordinance attempt passage, not only substantive defects but procedural defects, is so defective and illegal. Not only is it arbitrary and capricious, but it violates Title 28, Section 1983 of the U.S. Code. Civil rights violation. The advertisements of the July 11th hearing, I've submitted why the June 28th advertisement was defective. I've explained our position why the July 2 advertisement was defective. I don't believe you have a July 4th advertisement, contrary to what you've said. Like I said, we'll get a hard copy of the newspaper tomorrow, but I don't think you ever had a second publication. Also, other than stating that because there was a mistake in the date, this board has not given any reason why it is seeking to reenact this ordinance, nor has it stated anything about repealing the ordinance adopted on May 2, 2016, notwithstanding that the one advertisement, public advertisement, stated that in its narrative. Thank you. Anything further?
Before we go to any comments by the board or any questions you may have, I'm sorry. My arm now. Before we go to any comments by the board or you can talk to the citizens have to say, I do want to go on the record for one correction. I know Mr. Blumen was reading off of something out of section 609 of the municipality's planning code, and he was reading the parts where if the proposed amendment involves a zoning map change, then it's accurate that you have to post a property. This isn't a zoning map change. It's not a zoning change. It's an amendment to inside a category, land use category of an existing zone. So what he was reading, that didn't apply at all. I just wanted that on the record. Then the second thing, we talked about giving residents there that they're authorized or they're delegated to have a say in the matter here. If you read the actual proposed amendment, there's a big if in there. It says these standards that this township may adopt and assign to this application if the applicant if he submits a petition signed by 100% of the adjacent property owners within and outside the area, the standard may be waived at the sole discretion of the board. So it's not a delegation to anybody, the property owners. It gives the applicant an opportunity to go to his neighbors and weigh in on it. So I just want to clarify that for the record.
And going in reverse, it says that the board cannot consider waiving it unless we submit the petition signed by the landowners.
Just read it. It's exactly as I read it. It says if you submit something, then it
Right.
might be.
You can't waive it until we submit that. That puts the decision in the landowners. I don't know how it does it. We have to go to them first before we come to you for a waiver. Do we not?
No. It says there's standards and conditions that may be applied, but if you can get the concurrence of your neighbor, bring that information to the board, and our sole discretion, we may consider that.
Thank you for making my point. As to your first statement, as Mr. Tramp testified, this is a zoning map amendment disguised as a text amendment affecting this property in particular, and the zeal of this governing body to affect this one and only property is beyond description and can only lead to unfathomable imagination as to the motives behind it.
All right, does anybody in the audience wish to make any comments or additional testimony on our proposed amendment for the SD district